Now, a lot of texts coming in. Also, make sure to keep a listen out to this song that is going to be played today for our holiday competition. It's called The Kinks and it's called Sunny Afternoon. Once you hear that song, text in holiday, the word holiday, to 083 3333 975. It might be on this show, it might be on Jeff's show, it might be on Avian's show later. The word holiday to 083 3333 975. That's courtesy of Harvey Travel and Cork Airport. We've holidays to give away this week and for the entire month of January. Now I am going to go to Michael Varley, the Irish Hospitals Consultants Association. Martin Varley. Hello, Martin, are you there?
Good morning, Damien.
Thanks for joining us, Martin. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Martin, there's a story in the front page of News and Star this week about possible connections between deaths in terms of the amount of time people are on waiting lists, in particular on emergency departments and all those matters, following on from studies in Britain. There's also so many people on trolleys and on waiting lists and in emergency departments across the country. You're with the Irish Hospital Consultants Association, you're Secretary General. What sort of an effect is this having on people? Is the crisis in the healthcare we talk about, what sort of an effect is it having, not just on patients, but on their families?
I think we have now got an absolute national emergency, and it's time for the politicians to put their hands up and say that. We have doubled the number of patients being treated on trolleys now than we had 10 years ago when Mr. Harney was Minister for Health and she declared it a national emergency. In the last year, we had 118,000 patients treated on trolleys, and we know what's been happening in the last few days, 760 on Monday and Tuesday, 620 today. That's far, far too high, and you referred to the impact this has on patients. There's no doubt if patients are left waiting for more than 6 hours for admission to a proper bed to get the best possible treatment, it's not good for their outcomes. And the stats speak for themselves, and I know the article you're referring to, and I read it, and I would equally be concerned. I think the consultants in Waterford are absolutely correct to highlight those concerns. Why do we highlight it? We highlight it because care can't wait, and we're running a campaign for Can't Wait that applies to delayed admissions, people being treated on trolleys, and delays in terms of waiting lists and appointments for surgery and cancellation of surgery, which we're seeing in the last few days as well. We shouldn't be running a public health service like this. We should resource it properly. We've all known our population has been increasing. We've all known the population has been ageing, but nothing much has been done to put the extra capacity in place. If you don't have capacity, it's very, very, very difficult to get the proper calibre of care to patients on a timely basis. So that's our big concern.
Martin, is it right to extrapolate from figures of people waiting a certain amount of hours on hospital trolleys or emergency departments, and that actually being a contributory factor to a death?
I think this data and these statistics are probably organised and collected and assessed objectively. So this is the best objective measure that's available out there as to what the impact is of a delay in getting proper care.
Yes.
It's common sense that if there's a delay, that it's not good for you. And of course, what they've done in the UK is they've actually analysed this in a standardised way, as you would do in any other walk of life. So we have to take the information as being probably well-based, and to ignore it would be ignoring reality. We cannot ignore reality any longer in terms of our public hospital service and pretend it's okay when it's not okay. People shouldn't have to wait.
Martin Varley, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there. Martin Varley from the Irish Hospital Consultants Association. Remember, if you hear the Kinks song, it's Sunny Afternoon, text in the word holiday to 083 3333 975, conjunction with Harvey Travel and Cork Airport. 4 holidays to give away over the month of January. And if you get picked out today, you will be in the draw. You'll only be in the draw. You won't win the holiday. You'll be in the draw for Friday to see. So there'll be 5 winners and one of those will win the holiday. We are going to be talking now about retailing.
The taxman's taking can't sail my yacht. He's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me. And I love to live so pleasantly. Live this life of luxury, blazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. My girlfriend's run off with my car and gone back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. Now I'm sitting here, sipping at my ice cold beer, blazing on a sunny afternoon.
So remember, if you hear the Kinks song Sunny Afternoon, text the word holiday to 083 3333 975.
Good reasons why I ought to stay.
Now, some people texting in wondering what is the letter, the number you have to, the name you have to send in the word. It's holiday, HOLIDAY. If you do hear, or if you have heard Kinks Sunny Afternoon. Jerry, are you a Kinks man, no?
Just a bit.
Just a little bit. Jerry O'Connor, thanks very much for joining us, manager of Dungarvan Shopping Centre. An Abbeyside man.
Yeah, across the bridge, born and reared.
Would you like to lift the shopping centre from Dungarvan and bring it over to Abbeyside? Or are you all right over there?
No, we're happy with it. The location is great. It's on the edge of the town. It's a minute walk from the centre of the town, so it's a great location. You couldn't get better, really, to be fair.
Yeah. The Independent Republic of Abbeyside, though, has a lot of good shops over there as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You won't go wrong. Whichever side of the bridge you're on, you will not go wrong.
You were just telling me there, you used to work in Waterford Crystal for 25 years.
That's right, yeah. Before I came into the shopping centre in 2004. I can't believe it's 15 years. I just don't know where it's gone.
You're looking fit. You're a member of the running club here.
That's right, West Waterford, a very proactive and very progressive club. So keeping fit, keeping the legs moving.
Have you done a few marathons or?
We've 6 done at this stage.
6?
Some good, some very bad.
What's your best time?
3:31.
Ah, Cheney Mac, that's not bad.
Stretch into 5 hours on a...
That's all right, though. That's okay. You do a lot of running around during the day when you're working in the shopping centre. What was business like in the run-up to Christmas and over Christmas? What's it been like?
It was great. It was a great finish to a very strong year, which we kind of put down as well to the Greenway, which is now getting bigger and bigger and better and better. So Christmas then was extremely strong finish to a strong year. And probably the best Christmas we've had in the last 5 or 6 years.
That's excellent. And that seems to be reflective in terms of the figures that the Chamber have put out about these vouchers. Explain to people what these vouchers were and how did they work.
That's right, yeah. It's a very progressive chamber we have here in Dungarvan. And the voucher scheme covers all the shops in the town, and you can use them in all the participating members. And I just looking at there this morning, it's €125,000 up on last year. So that's a fantastic indication of across the town.
So the figures we have here, and they're in the both local papers. Again, encourage people to buy the Leader and the Observer. Chamber shopping vouchers retains over 625,000 in the local economy. So effectively surpassing 2018 record by 125,000. Shop local. Jenny Beresford and others were on here on this programme before and promoting this, and we were pushing it ourselves to make sure people did it. That's a phenomenal 625,000, nearly 750,000 extra, I suppose, or money that's been kept in and around Dungarvan partly because of these vouchers.
Absolutely, and then that's spent in town, so it's spent locally, and the spin-off then again for that, there's another spin-off that money is just circulated around the town. It's kept local, so it's a win-win for all of us, both for the shopping centre and the town side retailers. Everybody wins.
there's still parts of Dungarvan that are in need of refurbishment, in need of regeneration, and that's happening. We've had the lovely work that's done on the hostel, Dungarvan Hostel there. We've got the old bank coming in on stream. What's your feeling of Dungarvan as it is at present? Is it doing well?
It's doing very well. It's always been, as I said, I'm born and reared here, it's always been a progressive, prosperous town. But really, I suppose, it really took off when the shopping centre opened. And the following years, as more people came, McDonald's came, Lidl came, Aldi came, they all added to the mix. Our anchor tenant has done stores, and they've all added. And then they brought more people to the town. The spin-off then goes across the plaza into Grattan Square, and all them retailers benefit as well. So it's positive and looking good.
And can you see it not only for footfall, can you see people actually with more shopping bags, with more spending power?
Especially this year. I especially noticed in the lead up to Christmas, it was a long lead up. The spend was extremely strong. And what we found on the Christmas Eve, it was a little bit quieter, where people normally panic buy and would buy basically anything.
Like men.
Absolutely, to get out of trouble. But I found that the spend was so strong in the lead up, people knew what they wanted. They had money in their pocket and they bought it.
Yeah,
which is great.
We were talking to retailers, to Niall Shanahy and to others down in Tramore as well. Tramore also is doing very well. The retail offering would be of a different sort, but again, Tramore is on the up there as well. And parts of Waterford City, we're looking at 5-6% increase in retailing. So that's great, that's good. What's it looking like for the year ahead, do you think?
It's looking very positive. I just looked at our figures there last week on our footfall, and for the 7th successive year, the shopping centre's footfall has increased, coming out of what we call was the recession and the bad times.
What sort of figures are we looking at from an annual basis?
From an annual basis, we're around 4,250,000 floating up and down of that, which is a significant amount of people coming in.
And how do you measure that? Is it literally, is there sensors, or how does it work?
We measure it in a couple of ways. We have automatic door counters, and we also measure through all the different competitions giveaway we give it throughout the year, and we target that to identify where the customers are coming from. And Waterford City, Tramore, Killa, Youghal and Middleton, East Cork are extremely strong outside our local base of the town here.
Very good. So 4 million.
4,250,000, just give a few extra here and there.
Not bad. Special shout out to Annette, is it?
Well, that's my long suffering wife, of 32 years married now at this stage. Must go back and think.
Glad you got that right.
Yeah.
And what's the boys' names?
Craig, Mark and Andrew, 3 boys.
Are they still in school or college, or are they growing up?
No, all working, all still living at home. I don't think we're going to get rid of them anytime soon, some of them. So.
Keep them around. Isn't it great to have them? Isn't it great to have them?
It's the right way to have it.
Right way to have them. Jerry, listen, thanks so much for coming in to us. Continued success to the shopping centre and to everybody in retailing and business in Dungarvan and West Waterford. And we'll talk to you later in the year and see how things are going.
That's great, Damien. Thank you for having me in. And I should also just give a little thank you to WLR, as we're currently in our 4th year of a 12-month contract advertising with WLR, and it's working for us.
Good to hear. Thanks very much. And good luck with the running.
Thank you.
Mind those calves.
I will.
Now Anne-Marie Byrne is joining me. In studio. Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks. We'll talk to you now in a second. Firstly, a little mention that we're going to be covering a story tomorrow. Waterford now, the only affordable city in Ireland to live in. Urban densities, regional cities, sustainable sprawls. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. And we'll also be talking about reaction to the commemoration event. Johnny Cluno from People Before Profit has texted in to say there's no difference between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Both represent certain interests, and they betrayed the ideals of the revolutionaries who gave their lives for the many, not for the few. Others have been texting in regarding Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael's view about this. Now, Anne-Marie Byrne, your daughter Emily received a liver transplant a full year ago.
Yes, a year ago on Saturday exactly. So we are holding a Family Fun Day fundraiser to celebrate this massive milestone, thanks to her live donor John Fenton. So we want to give back to some of the places that helped us out and kind of take our minds off the day and off the week. So I've been busy.
Tell us a little bit about Emily, just remind people, because I was talking to you last year about this and we wanted to talk about Emily, and remind people who is Emily?
Emily Byrne is a little girl that got diagnosed with a condition called biliary atresia. It's a rare liver condition. At 3 months of age, she was 14 months waiting for her liver transplant to come through. This was her third live donor date. Time was against us towards the end. She was deteriorating, even though she didn't look like it. This time last year, we were actually in Crumlin Hospital. The family were not aware we had the third date because after missing the first two, it was just so hard to listen to people's sympathy. While it was good that we got the sympathy, it's so hard when you're actually in that and the knocks you get. So this time last year, we were in Crumlin, hoping and praying she would stay well enough, even though she had the vomiting and diarrhoea bug, that she would be good enough to get to England to get the transplant, and that also her live donor, John Fenton, wouldn't pick up anything in the meantime. So we went on the 10th of January 2019 over to King's College Hospital in London, where she was admitted, and on the Friday morning John went down to theatre at 8 a.m. and Emily followed him down at 10 a.m. They were in the same room. It was one hell of a long walk down with her. She was in great form. She was oblivious to what was happening, and we were just hoping and praying that everything would go well for the two of them.
John gave 20% of his liver.
Yeah.
Emily was in surgery for 11 hours. And
Yes.
John in surgery for 6 hours.
Yes, so from when John went down at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, his liver was actually removed out of his body when Emily was brought in. So we knew at that stage that yes, John's liver was the perfect match, because while they did previous testings, it's only when they actually physically take out his liver that they know for definite if it's going to be a match for Emily. So while Emily was prepared up in the ward, we didn't really know for definite until we got the call to say, come down, John is doing good, his liver is out and it's ready now to be put into Emily.
And what did they do next? Like, as I said, he gave 20% of his liver. Did they actually cut away 20% of his liver?
They cut 20%, so they physically take his liver out of his body.
Take a fifth of it off.
Yeah, they take it out.
Take it out.
Cut it off, basically.
Cut it off.
And put it back into him, rejoin up all the vessels and arteries and everything again. So it's massive surgery for him. It is life-threatening surgery. Any surgery is life-threatening, but it is really life-threatening surgery for both people. They take out Emily's entire liver and put the 20% of his liver into her body, connect it back up, and on both both people,
Bob's your uncle.
they want to make sure there's blood flowing and that there's no bleed outs or anything like that. And thankfully, at around 2 o'clock that day, we got the call to say John was back in ICU. His first question to his wife Liz was not how are you, is Emily okay, did Emily go in, was everything all right?
Now, I'm not going to get emotional because you're going to get me crying again. You got me crying the last time. I'm not going to cry today. It's phenomenal when you think about it.
Yeah,
That surgery, how it's done.
Yes.
Like, it's kind of very simple. Like, take out the liver, cut off a fifth of it, give it to her,
Yeah.
But it's so complicated.
It
And
is.
It's amazing what they can do.
It is, and the fact that Emily was waiting 14 months, her body was put under an awful lot of pressure. Her lungs, her kidneys were also put under pressure. So it's not as simple as, okay, she's doing well initially post-transplant. Unfortunately, it's the weeks and months after transplant you also have to be mindful of her. So again, even though we are celebrating this Family Fun Day on Saturday, we want as many people to attend as possible. We need to also remind people that unfortunately if they are sick, they need to stay away, because if people are sick and if Emily picks up a bug, it can be harmful / detrimental to her.
How has she been? How has John been?
John has been absolutely amazing. He had one initial blip at the very start, but thankfully he has recovered very well. It takes 3 months for the liver to regrow, and roughly 6 months to a year for his body to recuperate after that. He's now back to work. He's actually unfortunately with the Navy team at the moment, doing the massive work that they do, trying to find that
He's down looking for Willie.
He is.
Yeah.
And Emily is just bouncing around the place at home. We call her the major of the house. From June onwards in particular, we saw a massive improvement in her, and she is now, after catching up to a little 2.5-year-old girl.
When you say you saw a massive improvement, physically, emotionally as well, but the physical, just, is it energy? Is it a buzz? Is there what did you notice?
Yeah, like to us, while we were told that she'd be very sick while waiting for transplant, she was, but she met her milestones, which we never thought she would do. So kind of from June, July onwards, she was actually starting to properly meet her milestones. I brought her to playground in Tallow the first time. She didn't know what to do, how to step up and things, go down a slide, nothing. The second, third time that I brought her, she was able to run around the place and just ask for my help on where to go and what to do. Because she had such a big belly as well, she actually started walking while her belly was at its biggest in CUH in Cork University Hospital in the paediatric department just before her transplant. So, it's amazing. She's just such a determined little lady, and it's just brilliant to see her grow and develop. And in particular, the bond that she has with John is just absolutely phenomenal. And it constantly brings a tear to my eye every time that I see them together. We were down in Winterville on ice actually on Saturday just gone. We said we'd take time out from the fundraiser and just have time for ourselves. The 6 of us went down, and it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Emily Byrne's first Liverversary, as we call it, Saturday, January the 11th. That's this Saturday. It's in Knockanore Hall, 2 o'clock till 4.
12 to 4.
12 to 4.
Yeah.
12 to 4. Do people have to bring anything? Just turn up? What are we talking about?
Well, we're holding a cake sale, so if anybody would like to bake or make anything for that, they're more than welcome to turn up with it. Or if they would like to contact me, or Helen Murphy, she's coordinating the cake sale. We are having 11 men being waxed, mostly leg wax, and we've 1 chest wax. So if you'd like to donate on the day, or I have set up a GoFundMe page, Emily Byrne's first Liverversary. If people would like to donate into that, the more money we get and the more that is thrown into the box on the day, the more hair that's being pulled off it. So thanks very much, Polished Tallow.
Do you know the name of the person who's doing the chest?
Yes, it's actually my brother-in-law, John O'Driscoll. He's from Kinsale.
Has he a lot of hair in the chest?
He really and truly does, and he doesn't realise, I think, the pain that will be inflicted on the poor man. So yeah, no, in fairness to him, he's never ever done anything like this, so we presumed that most fellas would go automatically with the legs because it's meant to be one of the easier spots, but none of these men have ever been waxed before, so it will be absolutely brilliant. We'll have a bouncy castle there, we have a raffle with over 60 prizes, some of which are very hard to come by. Like our top prize is a tour of Lismore Castle including afternoon tea. You actually cannot physically buy that, you have to stay in the castle to get it. We're also going to have a kiddies raffle, so each child that attends on the day will be given their own little raffle ticket, and we're going to draw that roughly every hour because we know it's 4-hour period. People can come and go as they would like.
That's fabulous. Knockanore Hall, 12 o'clock.
Yes. And
anybody wants to contact you, there's a GoFundMe page on Facebook.
Emily Byrne Facebook page. You'll find all the details there, and I have my phone number up on the poster as well, and an email address, so please do reach out and contact us. There are 2 brilliant causes, the paediatric department, CUH, and Bumblins, and Bumblins will be attending on the day as well, so you'll get to see their vehicle.
What is Bumblins?
It is an ambulance that brings people to and from hospital. So Emily would have used it on a few occasions of coming home from Crumlin Hospital to save family driving up, because we never knew when she'd be discharged. So within 10 minutes of saying we're going to be discharged, we were ready to go. In particular, at the times we wouldn't have had the car up at Crumlin Hospital.
And I know you want to thank everybody that's been
so
helpful in the last
absolutely
12 months.
Everybody. I couldn't say names. So just a general thank you to absolutely everybody that has helped out in any way possible since Emily has got sick, basically.
It's a great news story, Anne-Marie, and it's fabulous, and well done.
Thank you
yourself.
Very much,
it's
Damien.
a difficult journey for you as well. I know
very
it is very difficult, and
happy times now.
Well done holding it together.
Thanks a million, Damien.
Well done on not making me cry this morning. Thanks.
Thanks a million, Damien.
We're going to be back with the winner of our holiday competition for the draw in a second, and we're also going to be talking to Michelle Ryan, who has just announced, after 19 years, inter-county footballer, she's going to be hanging up her boots. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be talking to Michelle Ryan, Ballymacarbery forward, on her retirement from inter-county football after 19 seasons. A phenomenal story from Michelle. She's taken time off before going back to school in Lismore. Firstly, I'm going to go to Tramore. Declan Flanagan, is it?
Yes, good morning, Damien.
Good morning, Declan. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad at all, thank you.
Good. You're out and about this morning, are you?
Yeah, you hear me britches raised a little bit. I'm out having a walk.
Lovely. What's the weather like in Tramore? Nice and benign, is it?
Absolutely lovely, yeah. Really nice.
Super. Well, listen, congratulations. You were one of the hundreds of people that texted in. Your name was drawn out of the computer hat, as they say. You texted in the word holiday. And courtesy of Harvey Travel, Cork Airport and WLR, you are in the draw for Friday for a fabulous holiday abroad. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely great. Looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll come true now.
Hopefully, yes. So what the situation is, we play one song each day and then the 5 winners go into the draw, and there'll be holiday locations of Lanzarote, Portugal, Spain and a Mediterranean cruise. We're not sure which holiday is going to be given out this Friday yet on Aveen's Drive Time show. So congratulations, you're in the draw for Friday. So you'll have a 20% chance at least of winning, which is not bad odds, 1 in 5.
Oh, that's pretty good. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Listen, a good way to start the week in the new year. Declan, thanks very much. You want to say hello to anybody?
No, just anybody knows me, Damien. Thanks very much.
Declan, listen, Happy New Year to you and the very, very best of luck on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there. Declan Flanagan from Tramore, who is our winner today and is in the draw for the holiday this Friday. Now, Michelle, hello.
Hello.
Is there anybody there, said the traveller, knocking on the moonlit door? And the horse in the darkness chomped the grasses of the forest ferny floor. How are you getting on?
Can't add to that.
Thanks for coming in. You're just about to head off to school in Blackwater.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
What do you teach down there?
I teach Irish and French. Yeah, secondary school teacher there with the last over 10 years now, to be honest.
Do you love it?
I do, I really do. I have to say I love the teaching, but I also love the school and the atmosphere in the school, and the students we have are really fantastic as well, so it makes it even more enjoyable.
Do you give out to them Oscuelga or in Francais?
There's no need for that. No, they're great, as I said. There's no need to be giving out at all.
And would you waste any class time now talking a bit about football and sports and stuff?
Not too much now. Not
That's
too
never waste.
No, never waste. In fairness, sometimes they bring it up with me. Tentatively, it's first. Oh, miss, I saw you at the match, or I saw you playing on telly, or whatever it is, and then we might launch into a chat for 2 or 3 minutes. But in general, it's a very sporting school, very sporting kids in there, so they have a great interest.
And you'd be very careful not to have favourites that do sport, because you hear about teachers that pick out their favourites and just I know
exactly. No, you try your very, very best, in fairness, but look, each to their own, and we try and bring on everybody, but obviously those who are interested in sport, obviously, you really try and encourage them and to stay interested and keep going and more to join as much as possible.
What other sports do you like?
To be honest, I'm a fan of all sports. I'd watch nearly everything. I've watched a lot of rugby, interested in soccer as well.
Support any team in the football, in the soccer?
In the soccer, well, to be honest, when I was younger, I wouldn't have really supported a team, but my dad and my brother are big Liverpool fans, and I would always have had a soft spot for them. So as the years go on, I has become more and more of a fan of them, and was gutted for them last year, but absolutely thrilled for them this year so far. Anyway. So far, I don't know.
For Liverpool or for your dad and your brother?
Both, all to be honest.
You have it won now anyway. So
well,
have it won.
I thought that last Christmas as well, but we won't say anything until maybe it's for definite.
And rugby you like as well?
Yeah, big rugby fan as well. So,
did you ever play anything apart from Gaelic football?
A little bit of camogie in school, and maybe there was the odd winter as well where it just training hadn't crept into the months of November, December. Played a little bit of basketball and played that in school as well. But other than that, it's pretty much been all football. I mean, you don't really get much time for anything else, to commit to anything else. So, and the last, I suppose, 4 or 5 years, the winter training has crept back in before Christmas. So it's hard to even have something in the off season.
What age were you when you started? Was football always there? Like when you were a wee gossoon at 4 or 5 years of age, were you kicking the ball out the back?
Absolutely. It was always there. It was something that I suppose someone in our house was always going to a training session of an evening or going to a match of a weekend, and that's where we went, and we loved going. And I suppose one of my best and fondest memories of being in primary school, and I know my my sisters and brother will attest to this as well, is on a Sunday evening, we saw, like everybody in Ireland, you sit down and watch Glenroe, and before Glenroe and during the break and after Glenroe, we'd be fighting as to who got to go out front and kick the ball with Dad. We'd always be out there ourselves kicking up against the wall, but Dad used to come out, especially at those times, every Sunday evening, so we'd be fighting over who got to go first and who got to catch the ball and who got to...
And we'd not be able to share it, no?
No. Whoever got to go do it with Dad, that was great, and the rest had to go to the side of the house and kick it up against the wall. But no, it's always been there, but it was always so much fun, and that's the main thing. And I think that's just why I suppose we all got involved to the levels that we've gotten involved in, and it's just stayed a passion ever since, because as I said, it just was a constant in our house no matter what.
I came to live in Waterford in 97. I was at the 98. 98, 99 was kind of the end of the golden era for Waterford women's football in the 90s. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do. I remember.
How old were you?
I was, when they won their last All Ireland, I would have been 30, just about to turn 13. But I actually remember all the All Irelands, and I remember the losses in Croke Park as well. And I just being able to be part of it, in the sense that I got to go on the team bus and I got to go and stay in the team hotel and be on the sideline in the dugout. I mean, those kind of things don't get to happen anymore. There's just so many more restrictions, I suppose, and teams are so professional that, you know, the families of trainers and so don't necessarily travel on the team bus. But I got to do all that, and it was absolutely incredible. And not to mention be a mascot for the team before that. So I remember nearly every single All Ireland, to be honest. And I remember at one stage, I think it was 98 actually, when the game was so close, there was epic battles between Waterford and Monaghan, and I actually had a chain around my neck and I was gripping it, and I gripping it so hard that I broke it, and I had it still in my hands, and I kept pulling it apart in my hands, and I didn't realise until afterwards I looked at my hands and it was in about 10 different pieces, but I didn't care because they'd won and we just got to run out onto the pitch. Like, I kind of lived the life of...
What happened to the chain afterwards?
I couldn't tell you where the chain is. I absolutely couldn't tell you at all.
Probably in Croke Park somewhere, is it?
Probably is, but I suppose I got to live the life of a player before I ever even got the chance to play myself, and that's what kind of, I suppose, sparked a lot of passion in me.
It's Ballymacarbery is it's a beautiful part of the country, and there is a community spirit there that's second to none. Did you ever feel wanting to get away from that, wanting to sort of say, no, I want to reject this? Did you ever feel any, like, I know it was a natural thing to be a player and to be part of that.
Yep.
Was there ever any time when you felt, I need to get away, I need to go to Australia for a year, I need to go abroad? Or was there ever any pull away? Like, you're living in Abbeyside now the last 10 years, you're teaching down in Lismore, so there's a kind of a triangle going on between Ballymac and Lismore and Abbeyside. Ever any doubts?
To be honest, no. I mean, even when I moved into Dungarvan over 10 years ago, you know, Ballymac has never seemed that far away. It's only 20 minutes out the road, and as you said, it's a fantastic community. It's a fantastic sporting community, supportive community, and there was never a time that I really wanted to get away from it or football or anything like that. Obviously, there would have been times when I was in college where a lot of friends would have been going off doing those travels, you know, and going off on those J1s and visiting Australia and so on. And at times I might have wondered, you know, will I or won't I? And I wouldn't have entertained the idea for too long. I felt that I always felt that if I did make that decision to go, that I would really regret it if, we'll say, the team ended up doing very, very well, or the team ended up getting to a certain stage in the championship or whatever it was, and I would miss that more rather than missing the opportunity to go to Australia or go with my friends who went to Spain and lived there for a few months and so on. So I never did. Now when I look back on it, like some people do say, it's kind of incredible that you didn't take a year out or you didn't take a summer out at any stage, and at the time it didn't bother me, and now even I would never say I regret not doing it, because, you know, if I had done it, maybe I wouldn't still be playing here now, you know, finishing up after 19 years. And, you know, like were you conscious during those years of
that pull or making that decision? Like, I know there'll be family and friends will be saying, "Oh no, stay, we need you, we need you, we need you." You didn't do it out of pressure. You did it because you just felt it was the right thing to do.
Absolutely. It was always my own personal choice. Always, have to say. And, even I suppose, like, my two sisters would have played, and they still play club with me, and they would have played county, and, they would have maybe taken a year out here and there, and they would have gone and did their J1 in America and played football in America for a summer, and went together at times, and fully enjoyed it. I mean, but the most I suppose I ever did was myself and one of my sisters, Louise, took off for 3 weeks and travelled the west coast of America June, and it's just because the gap opened up to allow us to do that. But I would
was
always,
that brilliant?
it was amazing. It was fantastic. And it was 2008.
Were you letting the hair flow in the wind and the open top car? Route 66?
We did actually rent a car. Yeah, it wasn't open top though, but it was great. But you see, I suppose I did it because I'm used to, every time someone suggests something to do or to check it, to make a plan or to go on a holiday, I'm used to checking a football calendar, and checking the matches and so on, and to see whether there's a gap there that allows that to happen. And that's just the way I've always lived my life. And sometimes my friends don't exactly love when I take out the phone to see am I free to do these kind of things, but they're used to it and they're very supportive. But it just so happened 2008 me and Louise were able to do that, and I was grateful for that.
Are you going to miss the dressing room? Like, you'll still have the club dressing room. Are you going to miss the county dressing room? Like, now we're talking January. The women, the girls, they're back training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you missing it already? Be honest.
That is I suppose one of the toughest things, to be honest. It really is, because the group of girls that are there, and even the group of girls that have gone before these, like, they're incredible people, and the bond you end up developing with these people is hard to describe if you haven't experienced it, because you're all there for this one common goal, to achieve as much as you can in a Waterford jersey. But the things you end up doing and putting yourself through, and the sacrifices you end up making together, brings you all together. I mean, you're talking about girls from various different clubs all around the county. As you said, there has always been a very good Ballymac representation on the panel, which is great. So you have that anyway, and a lot of us are very, very close friends. But playing football at Waterford has allowed me to make incredible friends from different clubs. I mean, one of my best friends is from Tramore, and we met each other first at an under-14 county training session back in 1998.
What's her name?
Elaine Power. She'll love me for this now. And there's numerous other girls, and some of them have retired over the last number of years, be they Mary Foley or Nora Dunphy, and all from very different clubs, but we all were together and we put ourselves through an awful lot. And sometimes when you're playing county, the decisions you make and the sacrifices you make makes it tough to be, I suppose, makes it tough on other friends who aren't involved in sport. So these are the people that you end up spending an awful lot of your time with, and they understand it. And you all, you obviously get on very well. You have an awful lot in common, and I'm just very lucky with the bonds I've had through that.
But it's still, like, to be 19 years at an inter-county stage, and not now to be training in January and thinking, oh, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, oh God.
I know. It's so true, because actually it's very rare that you have a free even Friday night between January and the end of the summer. So
you'd be doing gym work, you'd be doing...
Yeah, exactly.
You're
so
actually
it's
planning stuff now. You're going to the cinema now and doing different things, I'm sure.
Exactly. That's it. And I suppose that's the exciting thing, and also maybe a little bit terrifying as well at the same token. But look, I know the girls are back training, and I know they've been back training with a while, and I suppose that's why I felt it was important to make this decision at this time as well, because they're getting ready for a league campaign in 3 weeks. And
tell me about the worst sacrifice you had to make over the years, whether it be gym work or health supplements or food or giving up times or missing a confirmation or a communion or somebody's, or like, what was the worst thing that stuck out that you thought, is this worth it?
That's a very hard question to answer, because to say the worst, I wouldn't say there's one that sticks out as being the worst, but it is tough to miss big family occasions with regards to football. But I suppose two things that stick out to me, I remember, is I was bridesmaids for a friend from school, for her wedding in Kilkenny, and the following day we had a Munster final, and I knew that was going to be very, very tough to juggle. And I mean, she's a fantastic supportive friend, but it doesn't play sport, you know, and I suppose for a few months beforehand I was a bit nervous as to how I was going to handle this. And as I said, when your friends and family are as supportive as they are and understanding as they are, it makes it that much easier. So, like, I was able to be bridesmaids. I was there for the day. I did everything I had to do, and I was there for most of the night celebrations as well, drinking plenty of water and out on the dance floor to make sure I was staying.
Did you stay the night, or did you leave at 12 o'clock?
No, I actually stayed the night and drove down from Lyrath in Kilkenny all the way down to Rathmore the following morning. I met the team for the meal before the match, and you know, we won the Munster final, and I would have been happy enough with my performance as well, but and ended up getting straight back in the car to go back up to Kilkenny then for day 2 of the wedding. But I mean, I wouldn't say these are the worst things, but they're tough to juggle. Yeah, they're tough to juggle, and if I suppose people aren't understanding, it can make it even tougher.
Should ladies football be called women's football?
Ooh, that's a tough one. To be honest, the ladies football tag, if you will, doesn't bother me. I've no problem with it at all. I wouldn't see why it should become women's football.
The way it is now.
Yeah, I wouldn't see there's a big
sexuality. We talk about gay and lesbian and the percentage of people in life in Ireland, and 10% they say on average, you know. In terms of any team members, any squad members that may have had to come out or may have had issues regarding sexuality over the years, did it ever arise during dressing rooms or during squads or anything like that? I mean, that's not, to be honest, I mean, that's not something that ever really came up. It's not something that ever really was discussed. And, you know, like I said, when you develop such a good tight bond with girls inside in the dressing room and become such good friends, you know, there are certain things, and, you know, it goes for life in general, that, you know, each to their own, you know, and everyone has their own preference, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, we're all there at the end of the day to train to play for Waterford, and, you know, to get the best out of each other, and, you know, to perform to the best of our abilities. And that's all we're concerned with. You know, it's, you bring that to the table and you do the best in that Waterford jersey, and that's all you want. You can't question anything else at the end of the day. What advice would you have for any young women out there now that are, like, sports and women's sports is developing in so many different aspects? What advice would you give to them to say to go for it? Look, I've always been incredibly passionate about getting young girls to take up ladies football, well, whatever sport, to be honest. Personally, ladies football, because it's been, I suppose, the one passion I've had in my life, and I really still do stand by that. And if by any chance, you know, I suppose last year has been great with regards to making, I suppose, sports women more visible, whether it's through the media or whatever it is, and it has given hopefully a lot of young girls some inspiration as to how they can do it or what they can do and how many more opportunities there are there for them. And I would encourage absolutely every girl to get involved in a sport, whether it's a ladies football or whether a team sport or whatever it is, because to be honest, what it gives, even though there's a lot of sacrifice that we've spoken and a lot of training and a lot of things that you have to put into it, what it gives back to you, it gives back to you in spades. It really does. And I mean, I said this earlier on in the week, I couldn't be more grateful for the friendships I've made, the opportunities I've gotten, and just the experiences I've had over the last number of years. And I suppose personally, football has been there through it all, you know, and at times maybe when things were tough, it gave me a focus. At times when things were great, it just added to the occasion. It really has been such a huge part of my life, but I'm thankful that has been there. Coaching? Coaching. Haven't done much, to be honest, but that's probably mainly due to the fact that when you're playing, you don't have the time. I'd be involved in coaching in the school in Blackwater, all right. And you could be Waterford manager at some stage. Oh well, look, to be honest, we'll take a little bit of time out from the pitch side now and the sidelines for a while, and we'll see what comes down the road. Who knows? Michelle, thanks. Thanks very much, Damien. Michelle, thank you very much. Real pleasure to talk to you. Stephanie has texted, best wishes, Michelle. What an amazing lady, inside and out, a brilliant ambassador for all young girls. And so say all of us. Now, thank you everybody for all your texts and comments, all those that entered the competition. Thanks to Julie for producing. Thanks to Sean here in the Dungarvan studios. Special mention to all the family and friends of Dan McGrath, who died over Christmas, and also to Maurice Lenihan in Lenihan Crash Repairs in Newtown and Kilmac Thomas. We are going to be back in our Waterford City studios tomorrow. We're going to be dealing with some of the wind farm reports that have been mentioned in the papers today in the Dungarvan Observer, and the leader, Barnafaddock Wind Farm, gets a stay on order to cease operating unauthorised turbines, and many other matters besides. Join us then.